Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session that deals with the mindset of feeling unworthy, of not feeling good enough. And what can happen is that if you have the belief system that you are not good enough, you will find lots of evidence to support that belief system, and you will reject anything that contradicts it. And this is known as cognitive bias. And you see this a lot in conspiracy theorists, where the tiniest bit of evidence that supports the belief system becomes absolute, irrefutable evidence, and anything that contradicts it can be just kind of discarded. So humans have this ability, once we have a belief system, of reinforcing that belief system. And that can work with useful beliefs. So if you believe that good things happen to good people, you might notice the evidence that supports that. And if you see something bad happening to a good person, you would just say, well, they're unlucky, or occasionally these things happen. So it can work irrespective of the belief. So if it can work with good beliefs, it can also work this self-fulfilling prophecy of a belief system with the belief that you're not good enough. The problem with believing that you're not good enough is that it creates this overwhelming desire to constantly find the validation or recognition or approval of other people, also known as people-pleasing. And that's exhausting because it gives a lot of power away to the people around you. And that's why it's a trap. And it's a trap that quite often a lot of people don't even realize that they're in. So if I'm working with a client and I ask a few questions that reveal that they do believe that they are unworthy, and some of the clues, by the way, is if someone finds it really difficult to receive a compliment, if they find that they've done something well, but they're unwilling to take the credit for it, it's probably a clue that deep down there is a belief of not being worthy or not feeling good enough. So in this hypnosis session, there are various metaphors for different ideas of traps and how to escape the trap. And what I like about the trap as a metaphor is that there's a key suggestion in here that the most powerful traps are the traps that you don't even realize that you're in. And that's the difficulty for a lot of people that believe that they're not good enough, is they don't even realize that it is a trap and that's what they believe. And therefore, why would you even try to escape a trap that you don't even realize that you're trapped in? So I think this is going to be a really useful session for anyone that doesn't believe that they're good enough or anyone that feels unworthy. If you do feel that that is you, and this session doesn't quite give you the results that you're looking for, there will be a link in the show notes to schedule a free consultation call to explore working with me directly. But for now, you might find that this session is useful to create some kind of a breakthrough, or at least increased awareness, perhaps, of a belief which is no longer serving you. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, with your eyes closed, notice that you can give more of your attention to the sound of my voice and allow feelings of tension or stress to leave your body in your outward breath. Breathing in and breathing out, and just getting a sense that resourceful feelings of relaxation and confidence is going in through your nose, and any feelings of tension, stress, or unworthiness is leaving your body in your outward breath. So simply by breathing in and breathing out, you're able to allow yourself to enter a state of powerful hypnosis where changes can take place. The most powerful changes are beliefs about who you are and how the world is. And when the beliefs change, the world around you changes. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a ticking clock. Perhaps you can imagine the second hand ticking. Or perhaps you can imagine a sand timer with the grains of sand going from the top to the bottom. It doesn't matter if you think of a ticking clock or a sand timer, but as you hold on to the image of a representation of time, I want you to continue to breathe in and breathe out and feel yourself going deeper and deeper into this wonderful feeling that some people call trance, relaxation, or hypnosis. Continue to look at that ticking clock or that sand timer, and I want you to get a sense that tension is leaving your body. Allow any tension from your eyes to be released, your forehead to be released, that's it, jaw, neck, shoulders, just release that tension, arms all the way down to your fingers. You breathe in, allow your internal organs to also relax. Now, that's it, all the way down into your gut, releasing anxiety. That's it, all the way down into your legs, all the way down into your feet, your toes. Just get a sense that you're going deeper and deeper relaxed. And I want you to imagine there is a lift, an elevator. Imagine pressing the button to call the lift. And then imagine there are levels to this lift. Rather than the lift taking you up, imagine that it goes down into a deep underground bunker, maybe 100 stories down. And maybe you can see a button that says -100. The deepest part of your subconscious mind. I want you to imagine pressing that button while you're in the lift and feeling the sensation that you're going down. Maybe you can see the lights illuminating in the lift as you go to lower and lower floors. And then feel the lift slowing, the doors opening, and then imagine walking out into the lowest level of your subconscious mind. And here in this place, I want you to see that you are surrounded by elaborate traps. Whatever your mind thinks of when you think of a trap is exactly what should be coming to mind. A trap could be a mouse trap. You can get the spring-loaded mousetraps, or you could get the humane mousetraps where the mouse goes in smelling food, puts some weight, it releases a door, and they can't escape. You could think of a bear trap, these big mechanical jaw traps that close shut, causing pain. A trap could be something as physical as some kind of item that captures animals, or the most difficult traps to escape are the traps that people don't even realize they're in. There are career traps. The trap where someone spends money on an education, time on training, and then when they're in employment, it's the income they get from doing a job that they hate that keeps them trapped. For some people, the trap might be the perception of a relationship. They find someone they like. Maybe they're in a relationship or a marriage. And maybe it's not the best marriage, but it meets some of the needs. Maybe status, maybe financial security. And to leave that might lead to shame or discomfort. The most dangerous traps are the traps that you don't realize that you're trapped. There is the Chinese finger trap. It's just a friction that when your finger goes in, it's easy to go in and then painful to pull out. A Venus flytrap seems alluring to a fly, but the time it figures out it's a trap, it's already closed in this carnivorous plant. And as you entertain the idea that traps are prevalent, some traps are obvious, some traps almost don't even seem to be traps at all. I want you to think of the most dangerous trap in life. The unworthiness trap. The unworthiness trap is created when a belief is formed that says, I'm not good enough. Or maybe it's a voice that says, you're not good enough. And maybe to begin with, it was from someone else, like a parent, a teacher. And maybe to begin with, it was, you're not smart enough. You're not bright enough. You're not hardworking enough. But sometimes that gets generalized to this idea of, I'm not good enough. And what can happen is that an individual caught in this trap thinks that the way out of the trap is to get better. That if they're not good enough, then if they wear different clothes, then it will be okay. If they have a better job, then it will be okay. If they're with a more attractive partner, then they'll be good enough. If they earn more money, have a bigger house, if they look different, if they're stronger, prettier, then they'll be good enough. But this is a sneaky trap. Because the trap of believing that you're not good enough means that no matter what happens, your brain will find one other thing that you could be better at to keep you believing that you're still not good enough. This trap is quicksand. The more you try and improve, the more things you'll notice that you're not quite good enough, and the more trapped you become. Now, sometimes people get stuck in this trap for a few weeks or a few years. But sometimes people get trapped in this trap for their entire life. So if you can't escape the trap by getting better, by being the best, how do you escape the trap of not good enough? I want you to get a sense that there are two ways of thinking. One is that I'm not good enough, and noticing all the evidence that proves that that's true. And the other is to believe that you are good enough, and only notice when you run into an obstacle that shows an opportunity to get better. In the first case, you see references that you're not worthy everywhere. In the second scenario, you get a sense of your own abilities, confidence, competency, but it's only when you realize that you can't do a specific thing that you try and improve in. It's just reversing the trap. Believing that you're not good enough means that you try and get better in every area, but you still won't ever be perfect. Believing that you are good enough gives you the freedom to pursue life the way you would want to. But every now and then, you realize that you might need to learn something new. But life will teach you these lessons without you having to find them. Believing that you're not good enough is paralyzing. Believing that you are good enough is liberating. And you may have spent years trying to be your best. But every person on the planet has the ability to be even better. So if being your best is trying to solve the problem of not being good enough, you'll never escape the trap. However, when you look back on your life, isn't it also possible to believe that you've accomplished so much, and that what has got you to this point in your life with all of your victories and successes proves that you are already good enough? And when you're good enough, it doesn't stop you getting even better. But that becomes a choice, not a chore. The mirage of not good enough is transformed to an oasis of plenty that is available every day. And the key to escaping this trap is deciding you're not willing to be trapped anymore. And if you're ready to let go of this idea of not good enough and instead replace it with a deep conviction that you are good enough with the capacity to get better, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine in this subconscious room of traps in your mind, all the traps disappear, and you're now surrounded by all the evidence that you are already good enough. There's evidence that you're good enough to learn. There's evidence that you're good enough to have an income. You're good enough to create friendships and relationships. You're good enough to come up with ideas. You're good enough to solve problems. You're good enough to learn from the past and make decisions in the future. As you're surrounded by all the evidence that you're good enough, let me know by nodding your head. And just allow this feeling of good enough to ripple through time, from the present back to your past, but also into your future. And I want you to remember the earliest time in your life that you didn't feel good enough. And imagine this change is rippling back all the way back in time, so that even that early memory of not being good enough is now you seeing yourself as being good enough and able to learn from the reality of your life. When your unconscious mind feels that by being good enough doesn't mean that things get easy, the trap may be broken, but to fully escape the trap of unworthiness is to trust yourself and to feel comfortable in uncomfortable situations. I want you to imagine you are unlocking the resources of resilience and courage to be willing to deal with temporary anxiety, temporary discomfort, knowing that by remaining outside of your comfort zone expands and expands and expands until you don't need to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations, because the uncomfortable situations will stop being uncomfortable. And you can be comfortable in comfortable situations by being willing to be temporarily uncomfortable. When your unconscious mind is ready to accept a new belief, ripple back through time and into the future, and unlock the resilience and courage to feel temporary discomfort, to fully escape the trap, let me know by nodding your head. And then return into the lift, putting it back to the ground level, feeling it rise back up, all the way back to the present. Imagine that you're in your body listening to my voice as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, get a sense that all parts back in the present right now. As I count from 1 to 10 to awaken you, you will awaken realizing that believing that you're not good enough is a trap, and the way to escape the trap is to believe you are good enough and to do the very thing that you feel you can't do to prove that the trap isn't real. You will awaken with full of courage, optimism, and a deep trust with yourself, starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake. wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.